Someone once told me I cried more in my first month of retirement than I did the entire year my dad passed. I was floored the first time I heard this. Honestly, I didn't even know what to say. Now, I've heard some version of that sentence more times than I can count. Nobody warned you about this part. They warn you about your 401k, about Medicare enrollment windows and Social Security timing. But nobody sits you down and says, hey, the day you stop working, you might grieve a version of yourself you didn't even know that you loved. Most people think retirement is the end of a career. They don't realize it can also be the loss of an identity. That's what we're talking about here today. Not the spreadsheets of retirement, the human side, the part that keeps people up at 3 a.m, even when their money's fine. Because here's the truth, retirement isn't the big finish everyone promised you. It's a second chance. But nobody tells you a second chance can feel like free falling before it feels like freedom. Freedom doesn't actually create happiness. It simply reveals whether you know what you're living for. Stick with me today. This is going to be a totally separate from financial episode. I'm Scott Finn, and this is Real Retirement Reality. The identity crash. Let's start with the question almost nobody asks out loud. Who am I? If I'm not, insert your job, what I do. For 30 or 40 years, when someone asked you, what do? You had an answer. You were a teacher, a manager, a nurse, a pilot. That word wasn't just your job. It was a shortcut for your entire identity. The hardest thing you'll ever retire from isn't your job. It's what you built around it. If you told people you were reliable, skilled, needed, your identity explains all that. Then one day that whole world is gone. You're not the person who runs the shift anymore. You're just retired. And that word retired doesn't feel like an identity. It feels like an absence. A title can tell people what you did. It should never be the only thing that tells you who you are. Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's identity foreclosure recovery. Basically, you built your entire identity and your whole adult life, and then it's gone. This blank space where a new one needs to grow, and growing something new takes time. It doesn't happen the week you clean out your desk. So if you're retired, you feel strangely empty, even though you're financially fine, and you couldn't wait to be retired, you're not alone and you're not broken. You're just in a gap between identities. Every meaningful chapter of life begins with the season where you don't feel like you belong anywhere. Retirement is no different. And that gap is where most people quit too early. They panic. They either go back to work just to feel like someone again, or they numb out in front of the TV because at least the couch doesn't ask who they are. The invisible grief. Here's something almost no one says out loud. Retirement involves grief. You can be grateful for retirement and still grieve the life you left behind. Those two things can exist at the same time, not metaphorically, actual grief. You're grieving structure, your coworkers who were your second family. You saw them more than you saw your own family for 2 decades. You're grieving being needed by someone besides your family. You're even grieving your commute, weirdly enough, because it was thinking time, transition, a space between work you and home you. And a grief that doesn't get named, it doesn't disappear. It leaks out. The emotions we refuse to acknowledge eventually find their way to introducing themselves. Irritability, snapping at people over nothing. As this restless, itchy feeling, you should be doing something, but you don't know what to do. If you're retired and you feel this way, here is the permission you probably needed. You're allowed to miss your old life, even parts that were stressful. Missing it doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It just means it mattered to you. You don't have to choose between loving your new freedom and grieving your old life. You can hold both. The marriage earthquake. Nobody talks about this, and this might be one of the biggest ones. You spend 40 years married, but you also spend 40 years apart, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And that distance, as strange as it sounds, was actually part of what makes marriages work. You each had your own world, your own stresses to vent about, your own small wins to bring home, and then retirement hits and suddenly you're together constantly, every single day, all day. And couples who've loved each other for decades suddenly find themselves fighting over things like how the dishwasher gets loaded, or one of you is supervising the kitchen. Marriage therapists call this retirement adjustment period, and it's shockingly common. It's not that love disappears, it's that the rhythm you built your whole relationship around has vanished overnight. Nobody's going to give you a new one. Retirement doesn't change your spouse, it changes the amount of time you spend in the same room. If this is y'all, you're bickering more than expected, it's not a red flag. It's just two people having to relearn how to share a life they only used to share part-time. It gets better once you build new rhythms, hobbies, friends groups, even separate mornings, if that's what you need. The fear nobody admits. Underneath all of it, there's one fear that almost no one says out loud because it feels almost shameful. What if this is it? What if I've already had my best years? The most dangerous lie about retirement is that your usefulness has an expiration date. That thought is heavier than any spreadsheet. It's the fear that your best chapters are behind you and what's left is just maintenance. Waiting. Here's the thing though, that fear is a liar. It's built on the old story, the one that says your value came from your title or your paycheck, your usefulness to a company, but that was never actually your value. Years ahead of you right now are some of the only years in your entire life where you get to choose completely on your own terms, not around a boss's schedule, not around raising kids, not around a deadline, just you deciding what matters for the first time since you were a teenager with no responsibilities and no wisdom. Now, you have both freedom and wisdom at the same time. Youth gives you time without wisdom. Retirement gives you wisdom with time. That's a rare combination, and that combination almost never happens. The second chance. This is why we called this video Retirement is Your Second Chance and not Retirement is Relaxing, because relaxing was really never the point. A week of relaxing, a decade of it, that gets hollow fast. Humans were not meant to just sit around and rest. We want to contribute. A second chance means something different. It means you get to ask the question you didn't have time for. Who do I want to be? Not who do I have to be? Your first career paid the bills. Your second can build a legacy. What did I put down 30 years ago that I'd like to pick back up? What relationship have I been neglecting? Some of my buddies that I finally now have room for? The people who thrive in retirement, and I mean genuinely thrive, not just keep busy, are the ones who stop treating this stage of life like an ending and start treating it like a new beginning with better information. You don't retire because your story is over. You retire because you finally earned the freedom to write the next chapter yourself. You know more about yourself now than you did at 25. You know what actually makes you happy versus what just looks good on paper. That's not nothing. That's the whole advantage. Remember, retirement isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. So if you're in that rut gap right now, grieving a little, scared a little, maybe fighting a little with your spouse over that dishwasher or supervising the kitchen, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not failing at retirement. You're just in the part that nobody's warning about. It passes. It becomes something else, something better. Usually once you stop white-knuckling your old identity and start building a new one. Look, we appreciate you sticking around for this video. Tell me in the comments how it's really going for you. I'm close. I read every single comment. And honestly, some of the best ideas on this channel come from you. And if you know someone who just retired, seems a little bit lost, send them this video, not the financial ones. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is let them know that they're not the only one feeling this way. And also do us a huge favor, like and subscribe. It helps spread this to people who actually need it. I'm Scott Finn for Real Retirement Reality. Let's live life on our terms.